Hi, everyone. And I have Stig over in the corner. Man, you haven't done anything wrong yet. Hello. No.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. I was like,
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Whoops. I need to go see who's in the comments and I pressed on the wrong button. Lord Vader, good morning. Good morning to you. And I'm so glad you're here with us. And of course, the question is always in the morning is what is in your mug? What are you enjoying as we sit here and, chat about, the classical Star Wars I always say original lore, but classical Star Wars it sounds much more better. What do you think, Stig? Original lore or classical Star Wars?
You've said original lore far enough.
He's
Uh,
like, shut your mouth.
but oh well, I'm out of the corner now. I can speak.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say Lucas Star Wars.
Lucas Star Wars?
Yeah, because all of it was released on his watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And even he helped plan it as well. Hey Jaina Silla, how are you doing? Good morning. And my channel, I haven't done any celebration of becoming monetized and have a membership for you guys, but I am. And becoming a member, you can use the wonderful emojis that I've created, and they're all Star Wars related. There's a Gonk Droid, there's R2D2, we have Jaina and Jason Solo, and now we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so I'm very excited.
Or as Pando Lando calls it, a spunk droid.
A spunk droid. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see here. Hi Rennie, how you doing? And you have a beer. Nice. Nice. Enjoy your cold one. Yeah.
I hope it. I hope the beer helps with all your ailments.
Oh crap. I almost spit out my coffee right then and there.
Hmm.
That would not have been nice. I mean, it would have gave you guys a perfect laugh. And everything. But yeah. So today's topic, and I'm excited to add, we do have announcements. So we'll wait till people start trickling in a little bit more. Again, so whoever's joining in, like Wookiee Supremacy, what are you enjoying? What is your choice of beverage? What's in your mug? I always encourage you guys to bring your calf. Again, I'm in the morning time where I'm at. So that's why it's called coffee chat. So but whatever you prefer to drink is fine with me, and we do have various different types of drinks being consumed. Let's see here. Do you guys like Thor, Skywalker, or Eckhart's Ladder? I listened to Thor. He has some good points. Eckhart's Ladder, I've only listened to some of his lore when it comes to legends. If it's put up there, but I haven't subscribed to them or anything, and I really don't have an opinion. So
I it could be I like them, but I'm really terrible at remembering, nicknames and channel names and stuff.
yeah.
But when I'm not on this channel, I actually don't look for Star Wars stuff on YouTube at all.
Okay.
I'll read Star Wars books and comics or whatever, but no, when I'm off YouTube, I don't even watch YouTube that much.
Yeah.
I've been on YouTube too much, I guess. So I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want YouTube to be 12 hours of my day. Simple as that.
Oh yeah.
If the channels are great, excellent. Keep. I hope they keep making videos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody has their passion, and also people has their who they want to listen to when it comes to YouTube and stuff. And yeah, it's not healthy to be on YouTube all the damn time, either watching it or whatever. And we have to move. I'm a yoga teacher, as many of you guys know. So I always stress having a healthy lifestyle. Get up and move. Get involved with your family life or whatever is going on in your life. Be present. Electronics will always be there, but missing out on opportunities of just having a simple face-to-face conversation, you may not have that next opportunity.
Just to trail off a bit though, if you think about when you and I were kids, we we do all this, play with friends or hang out, do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
If you think about a teen today,
Yeah.
when they turn 50, they'll be looking back and go, remember that one time when we watched YouTube? You know?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
We are in a different age indeed. I used to
Yeah.
be told, like it is nice outside, when all the adults are sitting around, conversating or whatever. You don't need to be in here, with the adult conversation. You get out and play and be a kid, and so when they would make us go out and play and then come back for lunch and then send us back out kind of deal, or whatever, especially if it was a nice day, because unless they wanted us to do chores and stuff. But there was a strict we had to contribute to the household no matter our age and stuff, and I think that that's also what's lagging too. But this is not what this is not what today's about. I'm just comparing the differences between our generation and the new generation, and it's
Actually,
very
if you think about it, back
Mhm.
then, if you were watching TV, parents would get fed up and tell you to go outside.
They would turn it off and then say
Yeah.
get outside. Yeah.
Nowadays, they drag kids inside and put them in front of the PlayStation
Oh
because
god.
it's
Yeah.
dangerous outside. So it's the opposite.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Oh, that's conversation here. Andre, hello. How are you doing? Hello there. Good morning. And let's see, me and my friend just hang out on Discord. I can't remember the last time we went and just hung out in real life. Yeah. And right now it's kind of hard, depending on where you live out in the United States, going out and hanging out. It might be difficult right now because of restrictions and stuff. So I'm
Just
not saying
just call it a peaceful protest, and you
yeah,
should be fine.
I just go hang outside. So yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. All right. So we do have 11 people joining us as of right now. And thank you guys so much. Make sure you press that like button and go ahead and share this link on Twitter and let people know to come and join us for this nice, fun chat we're going to do. And we're throwing in a comic here, and it's the Outlander comic. And hopefully, the majority of you guys that are listening has read this and know Sherrod Het and his story. And this is what we're going to cover, as well as Tatooine. We both thought that the two storylines, paired up well. And we're also going to talk about, like the planet, the species, who's significant to Tatooine, and just go, into the lore and just have fun talking and interacting with you.
What really happened was I told her, hey, this is what you're gonna do, and she said, okay, sir.
Whatever. He loves to give himself so much credit. That's so funny. All right, Stig, there are some things in Lucas Star Wars but there are other things I like, you hate. I know you hate. And that's the thing. We're all gonna, even with the classical or Lucas lore or whatever you want to call it, we're all gonna like and dislike things too. And we may all not agree, or we may all agree. So that's the beauty of this.
Yeah,
So
Lord Vader, I don't mind it when you're wrong.
peaceful protest only counts if you're breaking things.
Mm.
Hey, Will Gentry, how are you doing? One of these days I'm going to come here and you won't be talking about Star Wars, damn nerds. ah. Oh, hello, Bone, and thank you for tuning in from work. Hey, Terminus, how are you doing? And good morning. And yeah, we have great sense of humor here. So, yeah, so I'm excited about this morning.
Humor? I wasn't joking.
Oh, goodness. And I have one of my favorite squadron mugs here. So, Twin Suns. And it's fitting today since we're talking about Tatooine. Yeah, let's see here. But first off, we do have an announcement to make. So I'm going to put that up here real quick and we'll discuss that as so we can get into the fun stuff. Jaina, Solo, do you guys have an unpopular EU opinion? I know Stig has some strong feelings towards the Jedi Academy trilogy. You have to bring that one up. Yes.
If by strong feelings you mean hate, then yes. I mean that trilogy had Wedge shag a chicken and Winter shag the fish. I mean, that's all you need to know about that one.
Yes, I guess. And yeah, so that's always fun. All right, so you guys, I'm gonna share something real quick, and then we will get into it, and then we'll get into Tatooine and the comic talk. So
It's going to be a very dry talk.
all right, so that was quick. And what that breaking news is about is that, I am going to have like a literature club once a month, where we, talk about a novel or a comic. But however, we're starting to integrate a lot of comics in our chat, for regular coffee chats. And if it's successful, then I'll break it off into its own day and time. And so that's up to you guys, my viewers. If this once a month book or literature club takes hold, then we'll move it to a time frame that's different from coffee chat and let it be its own thing. And so me and Stig were basically talking about this and brainstorming. He is, now has become a regular and now a co-pilot on Coffee Chat. And so,
What she means is the Jedi are taking over.
and yeah. And so we decided to kick it off today with one of the comics in celebration as well, because we were talking about Tatooine. Might as well talk about, Outlander, Outlander too. And so that's what's going on. And I am going to have a let me pull it up for you guys real quick. But I am going to have a vote up on, and I didn't change the time frame on this one. Close. Okay, no. Let me see here. Wrong one. Okay. I did not change the time frame on this, and so, that's okay. But we're going to have a vote on what's going to be the first novel. So I'm going to pull
What
it up.
she's trying to say is once per month we're going to talk about a book, and you guys can vote on which book it is a month.
Exactly.
Before it happens.
Yeah, where is it at? Entire screen. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice.
Oh, and everyone in the chat and stuff are invited to read the books and chime in when we talk about it, of course.
Mm-hmm. So this is it. So these are the 4 books. Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. So that's during the PT era. And then during 19 BBY, not ABY, I didn't change that. I forgot to do it. We have, Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader, and it's kicking off the beginning of the, reign of the Empire. And then we have Truce at Bakora, which is kicking off the beginning of the New Republic era. And then we have Tatooine Ghost, which is during the New Republic era. So those are the time frames, and these are the 4 books that are going to be voted on Twitter. Stig will share the link as well, and it's going to be up for today. So after coffee chat is over, I'll have it up, and you guys vote which book we want to talk about for the book club at the end of the month, and I believe it's the 24th. So it's the last Thursday of this month, unless we want to push it back a little bit more. We will discuss that here pretty soon. So
yeah, and for the next book, I think we were going to put the vote up a week before the actual first book club, so people get more time to actually get the books and read them.
Yeah. And these books here are very popular books that many may have already and have read. So I wanted to make it something very easy. Truce at Bakura. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I'm just here to support OG. Thank you so much. I mean, maybe, we'll spark your interest maybe in the comics or whatever. So hopefully, that, oh, you're a Trekkie by heart. That's okay. My family, we're either Trekkies or Star Wars fans, or Star Trek or Star Wars fans. I went towards Star Wars more than.
Did you hear that William Shatner's underwear line failed?
What?
Yeah, because Shatner panties didn't sound good.
Oh my god. Hey, our chat review.
She left me. Oh well. Yeah.
And
the pilot jumped ship.
Yes, I jumped shit for a few minutes, so I'm back. I don't know. When I roll my cursor over something, sometimes that happens and I don't even click. So, yeah. Tatooine Ghost is one of my favorites, but I love all of them. Okay. So you guys go ahead. After this is over, I will have it posted and you guys can take a vote. Stig's a Trekkie.
No.
Lord Vader is one of the best books written in the EU. He shat the panties. Made her rage quit. Laugh my ass off. It's your YouTube channel now. Yeah, Stig, you were taking over. It was planned. It was he used the force and kicked me out. He like force shoved me out. That's what it was.
Oh, do you know what Obi-Wan's password is?
What is it?
One Obi-Wan.
One Obi-Wan. He just told us his password. That's funny. Okay, Becky Brown left out. Oh, Stig, how did I know you were gonna say that? They have you figured out. Hey, Bag Forward Entertainment, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. And Little Poet Boy, I prefer Star Trek because it's more in line with the type of entertainment. I like the Space Wizard movies. I just prefer original 6 movies. Have no desire for the Disney movies. That's fine. There's people who just strictly love the 6 movies. That's fine. She left you. She was saying hi to me and she fell overboard. Yes, I did. Stig just force pushed me out. That's all it was.
Yeah. I was like, out of my way, woman.
Yes, it's like I am taking. He's slowly taking over on my channel. That's it. That's his grand theme, his grand scheme. Yeah, so I really have to get around to check out the EU stuff. I read some of the EU comics, but wasn't impressed with the whole Emperor clone story of the EU. Oh, so you read Dark Empire?
Yeah, Dark Empire is shit. And it's shit because it was written before the prequels were made. So there was no Chosen One concepts and no prophecy stuff.
Yeah.
Back then. So it doesn't fit.
Yeah. And then so Disney took off with it and used it. Go figure. Go figure. What's the worst EU novel you got in your guys' opinion? Well, we already know Stig's.
No, you don't.
Okay, then. So I take it that the Jedi Academy is not. So let's see here what you, before we move on.
Luke Skywalker and the Shadows of Mindor.
That's right. And we talked about this.
I hate it. Took me a year to read it too.
Really?
It has an awesome cover, and it's not badly written. So no, I'm not attacking the author, but I thought the story was completely shit.
There's some things that they could have expanded better on or did better on, yeah.
Yeah, as in not write it at all.
As in not have published it whatsoever. Holy crap, that's hilarious. All right. For me, I was just talking about this too, and now I forgot.
Probably one of the Callista ones.
That's what I was gonna say, is that I got the concept of Luke, rescuing someone that, Force essence that was trapped and stuff. I got the overall story, but just how it was played out and stuff was kind of cringy as well. Yeah. So I mean, that one, that series or that trilogy and getting into it was very hard for me. Very, very hard. Not that I don't think that Luke didn't have any love interest, because it's just common thing, before Mara, there was, potential love interests or whatever, and that was not the case. It's just the overall story behind it. There are some plot points in there that I really, really liked, but again, there was things that.
Yeah. As for the Jedi Academy trilogy, if you get the audiobook, it's abridged. You might find it's not abridged enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Audiobooks are always great. You usually have music and sound effects along. Yeah. Unabridged are awesome. So there's like Darth Plagueis. the Bane trilogy, Thrawn trilogy, I think the duology as well, and Kenobi are the ones off my head that I can think of that are unabridged, and that's the entire story. So those are worth listening to. One I believe is like 26 hours. Usually they're 22 or 19, but one is 26, and I can't recall which one it was. But I was like, holy crap, this one is a long one.
Well, I think it's probably 26 hours if it's a trilogy.
No, it was the individual book.
Because the Bane ones are like 12.
Yeah,
each.
they are. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, yeah. And then, but there's only one that's that long. And I thought it was the Kenobi one, but it's not. But yeah. Let's see here. Hi, you all. All right. So, Stig, if you want to kick this off about Tatooine.
Yeah. Well, Tatooine is literally the hub of the Star Wars stories. I mean, Anakin's story starts on Tatooine. Luke's story starts there. Asherad Het's story starts there, which is very relevant to the Legacy series. That takes place. What is it? 120 years after the EU books, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Star Wars starts. Tatooine.
Yeah. And so Tatooine, and I was trying to find a likeness of the planet before it got it turned into a desert planet. And the history of it is that it got basically bombarded or attacked, and it was turned into a glass planet, and eventually a sand planet. And so
Because
over.
As you know, mirrors and stuff is made from sand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they were clever about it. They just went the other way.
Yeah. And so we know that there's two species of Tatooine, and that's the Jawas and the Sand People. When you look into the history of those two, they evolved from the same species into two different species, which I find very interesting because Jawas are very tiny. Of course, we know how, what they look like, and we know what Sand People look like. And so I thought that was very interesting. I wish we got more of the evolution of them, but we don't. Jaina Solo, if you have access to the Library of Congress for disabled people, you have unabridged versions of nearly every Star Wars book, including all the New Jedi Order. Really?
Very interesting.
Let me see here. They're still, the Audible books are still going on. And so people in the chat, which do you like better? The Sand People? And this is like very hard to choose because they both are, crazy, or I'm gonna say weird or whatever, but they both are, one's a killer, tribal ways that they feel that they're protecting their family or their planet, and then you have the Jawas, who are these little scandalous little business people that that make a living selling junk and stuff to the people. So who do you like, the Jawas or the Sand People? Are both when it comes to the species. And then we also have the banthas there. We have the crate dragons, and all those little species there that have evolved from the planet.
I always thought the Jawas were the more the species that had the most creativity behind them when it came to creating them.
Yeah.
The Sand People are very much like the Bedouins of the Sahara Desert and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the Jawas are way more unique. They're scavengers, and their society is based on their sandcrawler. That's basically their moving country.
Yeah.
I always thought that was. I thought it was more creative, and while they're not as badass as the Sand People, the Jawas certainly have maybe more personality. But both of them are certainly memorable. Once you've seen one of them, that you know what they are if you see them again. So George had a knack for that, making things memorable. Even the ship designs and everything is just, if you've seen a TIE fighter once, you know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I vote for the Jawas.
Okay. So it looks like we have more of a Jawa vote here than anything else. So that's interesting. Yes, and the Jawas and the Tusken Raiders did evolve from the same species after, you know, what had happened to Tatooine, and so that's, you know, that this is what we get is their evolution and stuff. And I'm not going to get into too much details of the exact what had happened and stuff like that, because then we'll be here mostly talking about Tatooine and not getting into the comics. And so we have the twin sons, Tattoo 1 and Tattoo 2. You know,
Becky Brown brings up a point. She says she likes the Tusken Raiders' history. I agree. The Tusken Raiders have better history, or more interesting history.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that we didn't really get a huge like history or whatever with the Jawas, only that, you know, that they're like crazy little scavenger business people, basically. You know. Thank you, Abanas, for the $10 super chat. Good morning to my queen in the EU, sending you love your way for a great coffee chat. Too hot for coffee for me right now, but I'm tuning in. Enjoy the lore. Keep your haters blocking. Laugh out loud. Cadus. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Kenobi is great explaining sand people.
Oh, thank you.
Hell to the Prez Abunas. Hello, everybody. I identify as a sand person. Alrighty.
That would explain your dry wits, sir.
Yes. Let's see here. Let me see. It's jumped on me. I like the Tusken Raiders history. Yes. And that's the thing. And that's what I wanted to cover too. And that's what Kenobi, the novel, you know, really explains. But then also the comic that we're going to get into, you know, also has some history there as well.
And it also, this comic directly ties into the events of Kenobi, because this stuff sets up some of the issues in the Kenobi novel.
Exactly. And that's why we decided, oh, well, and Stig had a good point when we were planning this, you know, we should do this because it helps tie in, you know, what we have talked about before. And then we're talking about Tatooine as well. Might as well, you know, cover that. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. You know, he has some great points. And who am I to say, oh no, you know, when we want to chat here about Star Wars and stuff, we want to keep it coherent and share how much the lore and the continuity tied in so well. You know, even the worst, there still is some great tie-ins. And so
what I really did was I made a hand gesture and said, "You will agree, it's a great point."
I'm not weak-minded though. Sorry, darling.
Well,
all right. So the other native species besides Jawas and Tusken Raiders is the tattoo dragons. You know, are the crate dragons, and the Kumugra, but I never got into that. Integrated or immigrated species, humans, Hutts, Ricotta, and various others in there. And so we do have the Hutts there, which they use Tatooine as one of their base for operations. Yeah. And so we know that from the movies and the lore. So
it's out of the way, and the Republic leaves it alone. And
yes,
the Republic do not have jurisdiction on Tatooine. And neither did the Empire, because they left Tatooine alone as well, because there was nothing to gain from controlling it.
Yeah, it's a barren planet. They didn't have interest in it whatsoever. So, oh, hello, Keck. How are you doing? What's in your mug? So again, I'm drinking from my Twin Sons Squadron cup, since we're talking about Tatooine and people, the significance of the planet, you know, and who was, you know, how it impacted the universe or the galaxy as well. So who is your favorite person that came from Tatooine, that came out of Tatooine, Stig? Or being, or whatever.
That was raised on Tatooine?
well, raised or came from or whatever. So yeah.
Luke.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to say Anakin or something.
No.
I thought you were going to say Jabba the Hutt. No, I'm joking.
Anakin was a bit of a bitch, and I had to chastise him on Mustafar.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Kenobi. You're so nice to your apprentice, aren't you? But the Empire.
If you think about it, that was some old school teaching Kenobi did with Anakin. Just beat up the student big time.
It's like, if you're gonna act like a bitch, well, let's have at it. Oh Lord, poor Anakin. Oh my God. All right, so Lord Vader, but the Empire had influence on Tatooine due to the Hutts. The Hutts, I think, influenced the Empire. They used them.
Yeah, it's more like a symbiotic relationship in that area. They left the Empire. The Hutts were left alone by the Empire, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and Lars. Okay. That's pretty cool. You want to share why? I'm curious, Soul Assassin. I am. All right. Luke is a bit obvious of an answer. Stig, get creative. Ooh. Watto was a boss. Very nice. Yeah, and so the significant people that came out of Tatooine, we know the Skywalkers, of course, and then there was Shmi. We have Watto. We had Gardula the Hutt. Well, she didn't come out, but she tried to rule and she tried to take over what Jabba was doing.
Well, if you think about it, most of the people on Tatooine are not native to Tatooine. They went to Tatooine later. You know, like all the gangsters and stuff. They just went there and joined up with Jabba. So there's not that many actual natives that we see there.
Well, we're not talking about natives, but people who came out of or like was influenced or raised there or whatever you want to call that. So the natives, we already established Jawas and Sand people.
If it's my favorite person that has lived on Tatooine, except for myself, I would go with Jabba.
Okay.
Because he's awesome.
Yeah.
He also in one comic he ate a Jawa.
Yeah.
And a alien lady. He ate her.
Yeah. Hey, that guy was crazy. That guy is crazy. Yeah. And
I
so
of course crazy as much as hungry.
Crazy hungry.
Yeah, he was starving.
He was starving for power. He was just starving in general. So and then of course Watto, who set up there. We have if you read Kenobi, you have Annalene and her family. Then you had what was this called, Oren Gold?
Yeah, the villain.
Yes.
Basically the rancher.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have Asherad Het, because he was born there, and then Sharad Het, who basically exiled himself there or escaped after tragedy to Tatooine, and we'll get into that here pretty soon. And
Rey was not a native of Tatooine. She came from was Jaka Kika Kakaku.
Yeah. Rey Skywalker was the best thing that come out of Tatooine. Ha ha ha. Yes. I know that. I think that was a bit of sarcasm with that right there because of the laughy face on there. Hey, Renner Studios. Let's see here. I'm still saying Tahiri. Yeah, Tahiri Vela. Then we have the Dark Lighters. So Gavin and what is his cousin? That?
Oh, Biggs.
Yeah, Gavin and Biggs. Yeah. Yeah. So we have them. And who else are we missing? I mean, I'm just going at the top of my head. I should have wrote out a list, but I didn't. But that's okay because, it just creates a huge conversation of people saying, oh, well, what about this person or that person? And that's what I love. Let's see here. After the death of Jabba, there was a power vacuum within the criminal underworld and on Tatooine. Yeah, and we see that Talon Card is the one that took control of it. So.
Yeah, and there's Bib Fortuna tried to seize power as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, it skipped on me. Don't say that word. It triggers a word for me. So he's going to just start seizuring. All right. Let's see here. Oh, God. Okay, so we're not going to talk about Disney, Star Wars, and all that breaking news and stuff because this is not what this is about. Let's just talk about the heart of Star Wars that would make everybody happy. Yeah, so not Tatooine. Let's see here. Kickster Benai, yes, Anakin's childhood friend, and his friends that we see in from Tatooine Ghost. And again, if you guys missed it, we are having a once a month book club that's going to be scheduled for now at the end of the month on a Thursday. And there's going to be a voting on the 4 books. And whatever wins is what we're going to, talk about. And we encourage you guys to pick up the books or reread them. The vote's going to be on Twitter as well. So let's see here. And Tatooine Ghost is one of them. Are we discussing who's the best on a moral scale, or best as in the best depicted, or who's the most relevant in the galactic scale? No, we are talking about who do you like that came from or, was raised or grew up on Tatooine.
Yeah, just your personal favorite.
Yeah, and Greedo. There we go. There's Greedo. What about that uncut or that cut scene where Anakin beats up Greedo? The Phantom Menace. Remember that one? Have you seen that cut?
What?
Steve? Yeah, there's
the deleted scene.
The deleted scene, not uncut. Yeah, the deleted scene. I'm like cut, uncut, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Greedo was played by Warwick Davis in that scene.
Okay. Yeah, that was funny. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Carry on. Ha ha ha. Okay. Matt G. Hey, where's Abu Nas's wrench? What sorcery is this? I don't have my. I can't wrench anybody right now. I don't have my phone with me.
Gut wrenching, isn't it?
That's a little bit. Yes, that's a bit wrenching. How do you guys feel about Greedo shooting Han shot first? Since we're talking about that.
I'm gonna just agree with the change Lucas did because it's his movie and his story.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he should have yelled McClunky because that was something some idiot at Lucasfilm came up with.
Yeah. Yeah, that made it really clunky, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was Anakin's best friend, or who was Anakin's best friend?
I think you mean. Yeah, Kickster. They're gonna screw him up in the upcoming show. They're gonna have him in I think it was Mandalorian or the
really
or the Ahsoka shit.
I did not hear that part.
Oh yeah, it was announced. They have the actor who played him in episode 1.
Wow.
Yeah,
no.
member berries for the win.
No, because it's not going to be the same. People who are privy to his background story and even read Tatooine Ghost, for example, they're just going to ruin his character arc and his good-hearted nature and stuff.
Yeah, well, golden rule. If Disney brings back one of the characters from the original 6 movies, they're going to ruin the character because they've done it with everyone so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Kenobi's next.
Yeah. Vader. That's still a touchy subject. And you know what? I'm one of those that, it was George's decision, and I respect his creative decision. It's his story. And in a lot of the SE special editions changes were to link between the movies, and they were very small, insignificant, or very small changes that helped bridge some of the stuff between the OT and the PT. But that's just my opinion, my thought. It is what it is. I still like, the original the very first version, and then I do also like and understand what George did with the special editions as well. Han shot, Greedo died. Period. There was no first involved, as they as that involved someone shooting second, and there was no second shots.
Yeah, that's the classic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I like the best. But
Mm-hmm.
I am fine with Lucas making changes to
Yeah,
his stuff.
and it's okay.
I'm not fine with Disney making changes to it.
Yeah, because there's difference, the creator versus the new owners, and the heart versus the transplant, I guess you could say. I don't know how to better say that. I like the bits from the Mos Eisley Cantina band. They just have some good dance music. Okay, yes.
Sure,
That
sure. She likes every bits and pieces from it.
the bits and pieces. For me, Greedo shooting kind of ruins Han's arc in A New Hope, and not really, because he
It takes away from the character though, because I thought it always added to the character when, as soon as Greedo threatens Han's ship, Han shoots him.
Yeah.
Like no mercy, no warning, bang. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that really added to Han's character, and it did get changed when Greedo shot first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anchorhead or Mos Eisley, which would you all visit first?
Depends if you want power converters or not.
Yeah, it depends on what you want. You have Mos Eisley, you have Anchorhead. So what are the main hubs? Anchorhead it's more of a small, backwater little town versus Mos Eisley and Mos Espa.
Yeah.
And then what other cities were there? Let me look.
Well, I think that's it. Mos Espa though is, I think Mos Espa is bigger because they have the pod race.
Yes, that's
arena.
where the pod race is there. Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to any of those places because I'd melt.
No, you would just want to go find your little home in the Junlan Sea.
No, I'd go to Hoth. It feels like home.
Oh, we're talking about because you're from Norway and you're used to all that cold weather, and going over a certain degree, you're gonna die.
Yeah. I'd be. I mean, Hoth is literally filmed in Norway. Mm-hmm. Not even that far from where I live. And yeah, that weather you see in the movie, that's t-shirt weather for me.
Crazy Norwegian. All right. If Lucas can make Han shoot first, then Dag Nabbit, she get rid of midichlorians, or he should get rid. No, midichlorians told a story and gave us an idea of how the Force works through the body. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because it has to do with bloodlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Skywalker bloodline. There's something in the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a concept he had in the 70s, but he didn't include it in the OT because there was no real need for it. Yeah. And he was gonna expand on it, I believe, in his sequel trilogy, so it would come full circle. But if you don't like it, that's perfectly fine, though.
Yeah. Okay, and having Greedo shoot at Han and miss a point blank range like that really takes away from tension in the scene. Oh, we're still talking about this. Yeah. All right. So we already covered, what were some of the major cities or towns, or whatever. And we do know that there's settlers, and we do know that the Tusken Raiders, with their culture, they feel like the settlers are basically abomination to their planet. That that taking water from the sky is blasphemy. So we see that.
Yeah, they hate technology. Mm-hmm. On a religious level, and that's actually why they're called Tusken Raiders, because they sacked one of the first settlement, which was Fort Tusken.
Yes,
they got overrun by the Tusken Raiders. So Tusken Raider is more of a nickname. Sand People is the real name, I guess. Yeah. Well, technically that's a nickname too, but
yeah.
Tusken Raider comes from the sacking of Fort Tusken.
Yeah.
Thousands of years ago.
Yeah. Exactly. And so we see there we know why there's a conflict now, because we see the conflict in a little bit in well, not necessarily we hear of it in Attack of the Clones. We don't really see it, but we do see Anakin taking revenge on his mom being killed by murdering the tribe. And then as you get more into the lore, like even Kenobi and even the comic that we're gonna talk about here pretty quick, that we get more into the lore and history and culture of the Tusken Raiders, and that's what fascinated me with the Kenobi novel as well as Outlander, is that we get to know exactly why they do what they do. They aren't just heathens, basically. There's a reason why, and I have kind of compared their story and stuff like that to my people, to where we were protecting our lands against the settlers as well.
Also, if you really want to piss off a Tusken Raider, you like offer them technology for safe passage across their land or something. If you bring out a piece of technology and say, "Hey, want this?" That's how you piss them off. Except in the Mandalorian, where Filoni didn't know that.
Yeah. And another thing that Filoni just doesn't do his research and understand and stuff, so I mean, it still continues, but I mean, it is what it is. And so what else should we talk about Tatooine? Now should we get into the comics?
We should get into the comic, because that one has Tatooine stuff in it, a lot of it.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. I'm going to try to successfully pull up this picture of it so that we could take a look as well. Stop. There we go. Let me get to the right screen first so I don't, cut myself out, because, I'm known for like just jumping bail sometimes.
Well, now you look like Thrawn.
Yes, I do. Let me change that. That was for my review. Cancel. I did have a review on the fan film for Thrawn, or the Heir to the Empire. So let's do Twin Suns, since we are talking still about Tatooine. All right, so go ahead and start kicking it off right now, Stegan. I'm going to pull up the
the Star Wars Outlander comics takes place after Episode 1. Shortly after Episode 1, and it's the main character in it is Ki-Adi-Mundi, who you'll see on the Jedi Council in the prequel trilogy. Conehead guy. He is sent to Tatooine by the Jedi Council because the Tusken Raiders are raiding people, and they notice in a surveillance video that one of them has a lightsaber. And they recognize the lightsaber, and it belonged to an old Jedi they thought was dead, and that was Ki-Adi-Mundi's apprentice, I believe.
No, he was apprenticed to who was it? Ethan or Ether or whatever.
Oh yeah. The Zabrak. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
The Zabrak Jedi Master. My bad.
Yeah. And they didn't want to send him because of he would have too much emotional attachment to Sharad Het. So that's why they sent.
Ki-Adi-Mundi is one of the most competent Jedis of that era.
Yeah.
So they send him. Upon his arrival, though, we get to meet Aura Singh, who we only see briefly in Episode 1. And she is pretty much in a bar fight of sorts, and she's using the Force to make a Trandoshan cook beat himself in the head with a frying pan.
Yeah.
So she was she's Force sensitive, and she kills Jedi and collects the lightsabers as trophies. And she's also working as a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And Ki-Adi-Mundi contacts Jabba the Hutt to make sure he has safe passage while on Tatooine. And Jabba wants the Jedi to leave him alone, so they have like an agreement. Jabba offers him what is it, a skiff?
Yeah.
A skiff and some men. Sends him straight into a sandstorm where they're supposed to kill him. So Jabba's not trustworthy. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And
he really talks up. Jabba really talks him up too, like, oh well, you have my word and you're okay, and da da da. And then he's like, and after Mundi leaves, he's like, we're sending him into a sandstorm to get rid of him and have him buried in the drifts. That was cold-blooded.
yeah, but it's actually clever though, because if he's buried in the desert, they're not going to find him.
Yeah.
And we get to see just how dangerous the sandstorms actually are.
Yeah.
Because Aura Singh is trailing Ki-Adi-Mundi as well at this point. She wants to kill him.
Yeah.
And I do believe she's working for Gardula the Hutt.
She is.
There she is, right there. Yeah, there she is. Mm-hmm. Look at that babe. She has an antenna sticking out of her head. Come on. Yeah. What's not to like? You can listen to the radio while talking to her.
Oh, Stig, I love you so much. That's funny. And yeah, so we have him, counsel them talking about this. So I'm just going to zip through this as you talk and share some of the images here and catch up with where you're at.
Yeah, and we're also introduced to a character called the Dark Woman, who was Ki-Adi-Mundi's master.
Mm-hmm.
And she succeeded and then some with Ki-Adi-Mundi. But her other apprentice, there she is. Her other apprentice was Aura Singh.
Mm-hmm.
And something went wrong with Aura Singh. She went batshit crazy and turned to the dark side. Kind of. She
went dark. Yeah.
Yeah, she went dark. She didn't go Sith or anything, but she's absolutely dark. Mm-hmm. And Ki-Adi-Mundi actually uses Force Heal.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, he breaks his arm when the skiff crashes in the sandstorm, and he doesn't. Force healing is not instantaneous. He mends the bone a bit, but it will take time to fully heal.
Yeah.
He runs into Womp Rats, another threat of Tatooine. Kills a couple of them, and then he realizes. Oh, actually, then he enters a cave, and there's a crate dragon in there, and Sharad Het, who is the Jedi Tusken Raider, shows up and helps him with the aid of his son, Asherad Het,
mm-hmm.
who is also being trained as Sharad Het's Padawan, in a sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's 50% Tusken Raider, 50% Jedi at this point. They kill the crate dragon after... Asherad Het kills him with the gaffy stick, I believe.
Yeah, and pause there. I just wanted to show this because this is classic Jabba right here. He has his slave girl right here. He has his minions, his people surrounding him.
Could you zoom in on that slave girl? People in the chat wants to see it.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
You just want to see it.
Hello there.
Whoopsie, there we go. Yeah, so that's classic, and this is where he was talking about where he was like promising safe passage to Mundi, and then he's like basically said, "Sucka, we're gonna bury him. We're gonna get rid of him." Classic.
Also, it fleshes out Jabba a little bit because Jabba is the one who paid for and had the pod race stadium at Mos Espa built.
Mm-hmm.
So while he's a criminal, he also keeps the local population happy and gambling.
Exactly. He keeps everybody under him, and in such a clever way because he gives these like events that make
Yeah,
people happy on Tatooine, and that still could, so that continues a, you know, like a relationship that's not very healthy really, but it keeps the population satisfied so that he can still have power over them.
yeah, and
It's like an
Jabba might,
addict and
yeah,
the drug dealer.
yeah, Jabba might look like a modern day feminist, but he's actually quite smart. So,
Mm-hmm.
unlike the
Mm-hmm.
modern day feminists.
Yeah, and this is one of the covers here, and this is Mundi and the Crate Dragon, and this is Asherad, right? Yeah, this is Asherad.
Yeah.
So this is Sharad Het's son. He was basically going through his becoming a man ritual, basically.
Yeah,
Here.
and look at the artwork. Whatever happened to great artwork like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah, you have
Really,
contrasting colors.
yeah, really detailed. The Crate Dragon looks terrifying as heck.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Just imagine Kenobi beat a Crate Dragon. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, and
I beat one too in the Knights of the Old Republic 1 game.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I used mines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so right here, like I'm catching up to where he's at. This is the scene where they're fighting on the barge and they try to get rid of him in the sandstorm. But it didn't work.
He beats them easily.
Mm-hmm. See, even these scenes here that has a lot of like you know, brown tones and all that, it's still very detailed and very beautiful art right here. Very beautiful.
Yeah, and this is what the EU fans paid for back then. This was the norm. Yeah, this is what Star Wars fans were used to.
Mm-hmm.
Really good writing that tied into the movies perfectly.
Ooh, what did I do? Yeah.
And
I skipped. There you go.
You know, actual effort into the story and the artwork. And Aura Singh, you could argue right away, she's a very strong female. But they made no big deal about it back then. Then Disney shows up and she's killed off. You know, Woody Harrelson tossed her out a window some time in the past. That's all we hear about her.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into, because he's healing himself right there. That I just passed it up. And now he's on his own right here. And, you know, he runs into, you know, some Jawas because, you know, they're all over the place. And this right here, this is the mining. So even Tatooine in its prime was a mining place before, you know, before it was bombarded as well. It turned into a sand planet. So this is what was left is these mining what the hell are they called? I know they're not mining. I forget the name of it, but the big vehicles were used for the mining there that they were doing before the planet was destroyed. And so the Jawas, you know, was able to use that as ways to survive as well. So another bit of history there.
I like that she has a skull at the front of her swoop bike. That's actually pretty cool. Makes her look like a, you know, like a biker. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's a biker. She's a boss bitch biker.
Yep.
There we go. And there she is right here. This one right here, I really like the picture of her right here. This one right here.
Yeah, she's actually one of the few, I guess you could say, main characters in the EU. Mm-hmm. Even though she's a supporting character, but she's really fleshed out. She uses what's called a slug thrower, which is not an energy-based weapon. They uses regular ammo like we do.
Yeah.
So it has cartridges and bullets.
Yeah.
And she's one of the few who actually uses those.
So it's kind of like more of a modern primitive for the humans, you know, if you think about it, because, you know, like Jedi, they had, you know, like the sword, and then they started evolving into the laser swords that we see, or the lightsabers. And so
yeah, and I think the lightsaber can't block those bullets because they're not energy.
Yeah. That's interesting. So she's like, I'm going to use something that the Jedi can't block. So, all right. So where were you? Where did you leave off at?
The Crate Dragon fight.
Okay, we're coming to it. So here's the womp rats here that he's fighting.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got his purple lightsaber. So he's one of the few that has a purple lightsaber. So we have Mundi, we have Mace, we have Mara, and we have Jaina.
Yeah. I didn't notice that because I'm colorblind.
You're colorblind? Really?
Yeah, dark blue and purple look the same to me. Dark green and brown, dark red and brown, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. Are you're okay? Sorry. All right.
I'm perfectly fine with it. Don't worry.
No, just as an artist perspective, like, because I rely, I love color concept and stuff like that. So I can never imagine not being able to see, like the color spectrum.
Oh, I can see the colors, but I can't tell, the shades apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I make do.
And there you go. There's an interesting fact about Stieg, everyone.
Yeah.
So,
color me surprised.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not talking to anybody in the chat right now because I'm scrolling through this on a different screen. So I will get to the chat here pretty soon. As explanation.
We're not talking to you because we'd rather read a comic.
God. All right. So, okay, let's go back to the crate. So here's the crate fight, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the chats right now. While Stieg talks some more.
Yeah, this is where they where Sharad Het runs into Kiadi Mundi. So Mundi has found the person he was looking for.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Laurie. How are you doing? Sorry, Stieg.
No, it's just don't.
Okay. All right. So let's go on. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one here. So we get to see exactly a crate jargon, what it looks like instead of like imagining in our heads when we read about it and stuff. And that's what, comics are great with fleshing out what, things look like in the universe. Now look at this. That is amazing.
This is one of my favorite pieces of artwork from the EU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is just like a comic cover thing.
Yeah.
This is the quality we were used to because this was standard.
Yeah. And little did we know that Sharad's Het son would, be raising hell in the universe, like, 100, 200 years from now from this. So, okay. So here we go.
Yeah. They, together with the Tuscans, Kiadi Mundi helps, Sharad Het's son kills the Great Dragon, I believe, with the help from Mundi, who needs help. Complicated stuff.
Mm-hmm. And what's so neat about this is that, like I said, this is like his coming of age. That's my impression. It's the coming of age thing that Al-Sharad Hit's going through, and so they only use Gaddafi to kill their final kill, and that's what this is talking about here. So we get into the Tusken Raider culture. If you have two hands, you can hold a Gaddafi. If the person loses their hand, they're gone because they're not useful to the tribe anymore.
Yeah, it's harsh, but it's there's a logic to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't hold a weapon, you can't help your tribe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, and so like Mundi was like, I gotta help him, blah blah blah, here, blah blah blah, and they're like, no, he needs to do this kill on his own. He needs to, use the Gaddafi because that's the way of the tribe.
Also, the Gaffy stick bit of lore pops up in the next comic series, actually, that I'm reading now.
Okay.
Which we might talk about next week, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's very interesting right here. There's no death; there's only the Force as they're killing the Crate Dragon. It is crazy. So there we go. And so we have that. So we have our Sharad Het, and Mundi right here facing the Crate Dragon. So, and then it goes through, and I believe he does the final kill because that's what he's supposed to do, Asherad Het. So that it's beautifully done here. There's a lot of color. There's a lot of a lot of action going on in here.
Yeah, there's a heck of a lot of blood from that great dragon.
Yeah. And like I said, in Kenobi, we see, we get him killing a crate dragon too. So, I mean, that's very interesting. And why is there we go. Let me center this a little bit better. There we go. Yeah. So you want to expand a little bit more on these scenes, Stieg, or should I scroll on?
No, it fleshes out the rite of passage, I guess, for Asherad Het, which seems to be the case for every young Tusken.
Yeah.
And we're told that Asherad Het has raised his son Asherad Het as a Tusken Raider as well as Padawan. So exactly. He is well into his Jedi training in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in such a unorthodox way, because he's being raised as a Tusken Raider as well. So that's very, very interesting. And Asherad Het does, eventually go to the temple to get more training, and we'll get into that later as the story goes on. So, yeah. And then, so they're taking Mundi with them, and they're like, well, the tribe will decide what they want to do with you. So that's another thing, is that if they deem you worthy, you have to prove yourself to be a Tusken. You have to, they basically torture you and make you go through stuff. And if you're strong and survive, then you're a Tusken. And we see that with me. If you really get into the back lore of the Tusken Raiders, and then think about, Shmi being kidnapped and her being tortured and stuff, that was the process to see if the person that they're trying to bring into the tribe is worthy enough to survive and tough enough to be a part of the tribe. So
yeah, and you even need to be tough just to hang out with them.
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah, that's crazy here. So
they don't have a safe space.
No safe space there. So if you need a safe space, you're not going to the right people for.
And that page there, that's the guy who lost his arm during the fight. He can no longer hold a gaffy stick, so he kills himself with a knife, which is, I thought, was a bit stupid, because you can defend your tribe with that knife.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't see it that way, though.
Maybe they see it as a tool rather than a weapon. I don't know.
Whoopsie. Go back. I'm still getting used to flipping around in these things here. Let me see here. Go back. All right. Right here. Yeah, so let me go ahead, and I just want to make it bigger, and there we go. All right. Well, I will not try. Do or do not, there is no try, right?
Yeah.
Either you do it or you don't.
You either make it bigger or not.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. All right. Okay, so let's go on here. So we do have she does find them. So
Aura Singh makes mincemeats out of a pile of womp rats.
Oh yeah, that Let's see here. Let's go back. Where is it?
It is there.
It is there. I know it is. Oh, what did I do?
You keep scrolling past it.
I do. I'm sorry. Where? So here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. She's more brutal than Ki-Adi-Mundi as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep, and there's her mincemeat pile right underneath her speeder.
Yeah. So I guess that ignition exhaust thing at the back of the speeder will also roast them.
There we go. She created a feast. All right, and so look at this image here. So this is again another noteworthy image right here as well. We get, of course, we get Mundi with them, and he's going back to their tribe, to their people. And again, it goes back to, they're like, well, we'll see what they want to do with you, Mundi, but don't try to fight back. But, we'll see how that goes. So, and we still have, or seeing trailing them, as we see her binocs there.
Yeah, she's found them. She's been like a half a day behind them at this point. And yeah, you can see her little lightsaber collection case.
Yeah,
I thought was a cool little addition.
Okay, so do you know whose sabers she has?
No.
No, I was curious, but I didn't research it because I reviewed this last night and then I went to bed. So, but I was very curious. I'm like, I wonder whose sabers she has. That's very interesting to find out. So I'm gonna have to look that up and then report to you guys back later.
It's also interesting that Grievous had the same hobby.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right, so here we go. We are they are back at their at their village, I guess you could say. And so, but I forgot what was going on right here.
Oh, they're trying to toughen up Ki-Adi-Mundi because he's
that's right. Yeah.
Resting and healing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get to see how they treat guests. You need to
exactly.
toughen up. Yeah, you need to toughen up and beat up a couple to get respect. So they're just as harsh with outsiders as they are with themselves.
Yeah, and the people like the Jawas and Tuscans, are the Jawas in general. They call Sharad Het the Outlander because he's now with them, but he's from somewhere else. Yeah. And that's why these comics are called Outlander. So yeah. So and here we go.
Well, it has a double meaning because Ki-Adi-Mundi is in a brand new world as well. He's learning about Tatooine as he goes along, so he's also an Outlander.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I thought that was a little interesting little parallel there, because we don't hear, we hear them call the people who settled there settlers, of course, obviously the word settlers and people settling there and stuff. But, we do have, like our Sharad Het, an Outlander, and then, then of course, Mundi, fit in the same thing. And so I thought that was interesting. So here we are. So they're basically seeing how tough he is, testing him and stuff. And and of course he uses the Force and stuff. He's protecting himself, and that's what Sharad Het had to go through too, because they did discover him, and we're going to get to that here. And this story also shares how he became a Tusken Raider as well.
Yeah, so, it's remember when Star Wars characters had backstories? That was fun.
Yeah.
It's nice when they plan a backstory for an important character, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And so here we go. Let's go ahead and move forward now. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, they're talking and remembering. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting the backstory of Sharad Het. He was the apprentice of what is his name? Eith Koth.
Yeah, Eith Koth or something like that. Eith Koth or Eith Koth. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. The character we see in the movies. On the Jedi Council, and Palpatine kills him when they go to arrest him.
Yeah.
And he was Sharad Het's master. Sharad Het became a competent Jedi, but his family gets killed.
Yeah, it's all right here.
Yeah, during I guess a planet gets bombed, and the Jedi and the Republic does nothing.
Yeah.
And he basically leaves, and he crashes on Tatooine, and basically goes into exile in a sense.
Yeah, and Harry is at the bottom right there. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Yeah. So he he gets picked up by the Tusken Raiders and slowly becomes one of them, and later becomes their leader.
Mm-hmm.
It took quite a while, and we learned that the settlers and the Hutts on Tatooine are causing problems for the Tuskens. So it's not just mindless attacks by the
Yeah.
Tuskens that he's been in charge of. There's actually they have a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
And seems Jabba and Gardula the Hutts are behind most of it. Imagine that.
Yeah. Jabba is basically funding the sales of blasters and stuff, and creating a war or a conflict between the Tuscans and the settlers, so that he could continue to sell. And that is touched up a little bit in Kenobi as well.
Yeah, this conflict actually ties into the Kenobi novel very well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be a little war between the Tuskens and the gangsters.
Yeah. Yeah, and Plague Eye talks to Kenobi about that too, because she tells the history.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. So.
And yeah. And Kiadi-Mundi joins them.
Mm-hmm.
And Aura Singh shows up when the Tusken Raiders get attacked by
Gardula.
Yeah, basically a small army of gangsters.
Oh yeah, let's go to that right now. So there she is. She spots them, and what they're looking at right here is basically they're telling the story about the mass killings that has started accumulating, and that goes with Jabba selling armory and stuff like that. And so, and this is their burial. So this is their burial, and they're saying there's a lot more going on than ever in their history that they can remember as they can remember. And then so we have Aura right here. She spots them as they talk, and then she gets hold of Gardula, and she's like, "I'm on my way," and she brings a huge army of settlers with her. Huge army of settlers.
Well, gangsters.
Gangster settlers too as well, because you got to admit that there are some settlers that do other jobs as well, because it's a planet where there's not really any law going on and stuff. So because we even see it with Owen Lars, sorry, what's his name, Galt, Oren Galt.
Yeah she has Gardula gather a mob. Yes. Basically for a peaceful protest in the desert.
There we go. This is what we feel like. Oh, my voice is going. This is how it feels like right now. What's going on with us?
Yep.
Oh, goodness gracious. What a strange little reality we live in, right? We can compare our reality to a cartoon or to a lore right now and laugh about it in a sense. Yeah. So there's right here, their army is. There's another significant picture. Let me see here. So here they are again. And so they're away from the village. And so Sharad's has like, we need to go and warn and gather.
Yeah. So. And then pardon my English, the shit hits the fan.
Exactly. And look at this picture right here. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
All right. So here we go. So here the shit is hitting the fan.
Oh yeah.
So
the fighting is dirty, gritty, quite a bit of blood, and for a Star Wars story, or a Sing.
It's a children's story. It's made for kids.
Yeah, space wizards.
And
when Aura Singh shoots people, you see the blood splatters, which means she is using those slug throwers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. And she is competent as heck, and she is a very real threat.
Mm-hmm.
This is, from the time when they didn't lower the skill level of the bad guys just to make the good guys survive and look good.
Yeah.
And this period of Star Wars, the main characters actually got hurt and barely survived if they did survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can answer Becky Brown's question. She says, when in the EU did Aura Singh die? She didn't. She is still alive during the Fate of the Jedi story.
Mm-hmm.
In the Disney Star Wars, she is killed off screen during the Han Solo movie, because they just mentioned that, yeah, Woody Harrelson's character killed Aura Singh by throwing her out a window. So,
Yeah. And I forgot that she was in that or whatever, but she was, or Singh was in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea because I'm like, I didn't want to invest in the time for that. Yeah. All right. So I hope you guys are all enjoying this talk about the Tatooine lore, including Outlander and what's going on. This starts rolling in and tying into. I mean, there's several other stories beforehand, but it starts rolling in and tying into Legacy Comics.
Oh, I stand corrected. She wasn't thrown out a window. She got pushed off the cliff.
Oh,
Same thing though. She just got.
yeah. Yeah, well, either way,
Yeah.
she was tossed, right? She was tossed.
Yeah. Another one of those strong females that didn't exist.
Yeah. So they tossed a very strong female, so.
No, she was mentioned in the solo book, Vader.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's sorry, in the solo movie, because they mentioned that Woody Harrelson's character was the one who killed Aura Singh, and I think he mentioned that I thought it was tossed her out a window, but if it's off a cliff, then fine.
Yeah, either way, she was basically tossed and killed, basically, like non-existent anymore. Just another way to get rid of another legacy character. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
So.
Disney can just shove it.
Becky has a good point. I'm shocked Disney would push a woman like that.
Yeah.
But it's not a woman that they created.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's where I got it from. I remember seeing that and I was like, what? They just killed her off screen? Come on.
You did a Vader yell, no.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to our happy place. I'm not gonna say safe place. This is a happy place. There's a huge difference. And
yeah, this is a full blown attack, war in the desert.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine this one, like this kind of scene, but without the hut, without Gardula here. But this, when Oren Galt goes and has that conflict fight with Obi-Wan and the Sand People. So just imagine everybody on their skiffs, on their everything coming in to fight them as well. If you read the Kenobi novel, you know what I'm talking about. It's towards the end, and stuff. Imagine this kind of scene, but with Kenobi and all that.
And this conflict we see her in the comic is referenced in that book.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
They talk about how it happened before, and
mm-hmm.
Anyway, a fight happens. The Tuscans fight back. It's a full-on war. The Tuscans start winning. Aura Singh shows up and decides to take out her target, which is Sharad Het.
Yeah.
And if you skip ahead a bit, spoilers.
I was just going to show this because this goes deeper into what's really going on, and Aura Singh really plays the Hutts for money.
Yeah. Oh, can you zoom in on that slave girl?
Here we go.
Orange Hat Reviews wants a close up.
I'm sure he does. There you
go. Yeah.
Yeah, so she really plays the Hutts, and the Hutts are basically Gardula and Jabba. Gardula is his aunt, and they are vying for Tatooine because it's a great hub.
Orange Hat Reviews makes a good point in the chat. He says they made her non-force sensitive in the Clone Wars series, so Filoni didn't even bother to read her backstory.
Oh wow, another one, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go on. So here we go. So we have the conflict going on. Doesn't she? Like I said, she plays the Hutts, and she really gambles. Like she's like, I make money, and so I go through all opportunities. So she gets a hold of Jabba as well. So that's crazy.
Yeah, she plays them against each other. Actually, this is actually smart warfare though, because the skiffs drop bombs at the Tuskens. Makes sense. It's not nice, but it's effective.
But Jabba needs the Tuskens to still create conflict, and so he comes and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" So I mean, and like I said, the Hutts are vying for Tatooine. Who's going to control? Who's going to have overall control of this this underworld planet, or this that has no law and stuff like that, and a perfect hub for criminal cartel. And so they're vying for this, and this goes back to even Han Solo trilogy, where he fights, him and his aunt Gardula the Hutt fight as well.
Also, one of the best scenes in this comic. So one guy kind of questions Gardula the Hutt. She doesn't stand and just shoots him in the face.
That's right, and that's coming up. Let's find that here.
Yeah, you had it up.
Oh, did I? Was it there?
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Right here. Blam. She's like, "Get out of my face. Get out of my slut face."
There's noise to my right. Shoot it and make it go away.
Exactly. It's like, get this little insect off buzzing around off me. Basically. And I mean, so it's a heartless, Tatooine is a heartless planet, and if you go there, and become a moisture farmer, you face a lot of lawless adversity and stuff like that. And and you don't have the law to favor you. You don't have the Republic to protect you. You don't have even the Empire.
If you're a moisture farmer, you always have a wet dream.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Okay, let's go more. Let's check this out. So we still have the conflict going on here.
Yeah, and Aura Singh starts moving in for the basically taking her chance to get her target.
Yeah. And she says, "That's it, little lost Padawan, come closer."
Yep.
So she knows exactly who she's targeting. Her thing is with the Jedi, and that's who she's targeting right now.
Yeah, she's in it for personal reasons.
Exactly.
She shoots the Bantha, which means Asherad Het is no longer considered a Tusken.
Exactly, because they're a part of their being, and that is also explained in Kenobi as well.
Yeah. So if you basically if you lose your horse, you're out of the tribe. You're no longer considered a Tusken because you couldn't.
Yeah, and if a Tusken dies and they leave their Bantha, then they usually kill the Bantha or leave the Bantha out wandering. Because without one or the other, they bond with their Bantha basically, and that's shared a lot in the Kenobi novel as well. Is that they create a special bond with their Bantha, and they're both their being both merges together in a sense. That's how they see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of great lore happening in this comic. And it ties perfectly into the Kenobi novel and future comics and other novels as well.
Yeah, and like I said, even all the way up to Legacy, because we get the final story of Crate, and we all know who Crate is, right?
Yeah. And when I was reading this, I hadn't read it in probably 15 years. It just struck me how well the synergy was with other Star Wars products.
Yeah.
And this is something it's not happening in Disney Star Wars at all. There's contradictions everywhere. And this one fits like a glove with anything in Star Wars, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we have Sherrod Het fighting. And again, we see a lot of blood because there's primitive, I guess you could say, with the Star Wars lore, there's primitive tools being used, weapons being used. So we see a lot of blood and stuff. We see Jabba coming in on his freight now and, participating in this conflict because, again, the Hutts are vying for control. This is what this is about for them. For the Tuscans, it's about survival of their people. For the settlers, it's about their survival as well. But the Hutts are playing them so well.
Oh, yeah.
So both sides, kind of like Palpatine played both sides of the war.
Actually, yeah, it kind of foreshadows it a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, beautifully done here as well. And so we have, Jabba here and stuff. So I don't know if you want to expand on this a little bit more, or if I should just fast forward
No,
a little.
it's Sherrod Het.
Yeah.
Basically making his way to Jabba.
Yeah.
To basically, capture the king.
Yeah. Oh goodness. And he has his lightsaber here too, as well.
Yeah, there's slaughter going on.
There is. All right. And here we go. So Jabba's calling out, making his announcement. Let's see here. Let's move forward here. And we see the demise of Sherrod Het.
Well, not yet.
Not exactly yet, but he is hit right here by her because he can't block her. And that's the point.
It's a flesh wound. She snipes him.
Yes.
He falls off, and then she goes in for the kill.
Yeah. And I think that's really smart of her to have I guess you could say, like I've been calling it, a primitive weapon as she has, because of it, the saber can't do anything, to protect the Jedi or the wielder, basically, other than maybe slicing, the barrel off and stuff. But still, there's not much protection from that. And we see it right here, because Sherrod Het can't block the bullet going towards him.
Yeah, and Becky in the chat says Plug Eye's sister was married to Sherrod Het.
Yes, it is, and it's even told in here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is where Aura Singh tells Gardula to basically fuck off.
Yeah, right. I know. It was last night when I was going through this, and I get to the scene right here, and she's like, "F you! I make my own money, and I play all sides, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "You go, girl."
Yeah, she's like, "You're right. I played you. Here's half the money back." And then she goes in to kill Sherrod Het, and there's a fight happening, and that's a pretty quick fight. The guy's injured, and there's a lot of villainous blah blah blah, and she kills him with a fancy move. There you go.
There it is.
Hole in one.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, she clearly uses the Force. Tossing rocks at him. How did Filoni miss this? I don't know.
Very, very good point. Yeah, there was mistakes there because they had it in the lore. They had it, and they had the resources. They had the source material in front of them, and this is George Lucas era, and yet he failed to realize that she was trained to use the Force. I mean, and she abandoned, all everything for And we see her as we see her today in this comic. So there's revenge she's taken on the Jedi. That's what's going on.
Oh yeah, and it's all you have to do if you're gonna put Aura Singh or someone in an animated show, you just read the comics she's in. That's it. Just read up and learn about the character, and then put the character in.
No, Gordula is was it hermaphrodite? So the Hutts are hermaphrodites, so they can procreate on their own. So
Yeah, she's female, but the Hutts basically choose their gender in a sense because
Yeah.
they're hermaphrodites. So I think
Exactly.
that falls under LGBTQ actually.
Exactly. And like
So
there was no diverse in the lore before Disney. I beg to differ.
yeah. Well, to be fair, I wouldn't say the Hutts are good representatives though.
But I'm just saying they are a species, and so we have a different species, non-human or non-white humans.
They're, they're literally non-binary.
Exactly. But still there's a sense, and that there is different types of genders, different types of species. There's a huge diversity. Diversity doesn't have to consist only in the human realm when we get into fantasy. And
Yeah.
George did it beautifully. And so she has some saber combat knowledge, maybe Sicho. So do you remember who she? Oh yeah, we know who she was trained by, but Dark Woman. But we don't know her lightsaber methods or what she took to practice, because we know Kenobis. We know what people were more fluent in when it comes to lightsaber combat.
Yeah, and then she kills Sharad Het. Asherad Het shows up. There's a melee with or a sing. He pretty much kind of wins.
Yeah.
But she gets away. Oh yeah, she fights Mundi as well, I think.
Yeah, Mundi comes in, and yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot going on, but she friggin' handles herself.
Yeah, she's about to chop the guy's head off, and then the sun shows up. And she is not afraid of being surrounded by technically 3 Jedi.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yep.
And I'm thinking on a good day, she would have won.
And the thing is a Sharad Het doesn't really do the killing blow, because again, Mundi's like, if you do that, you're going to go to the dark side.
Yeah.
So
foreshadows what Anakin did not do.
Exactly.
I guess when he killed Dooku.
Yeah. Exactly. Because he didn't have Kenobi there, because Kenobi was knocked out already. So he didn't have that voice of reason. He had the manipulative voice saying, do it. Because remember what happened with your mom? You're just getting revenge.
See what happens when I'm not around? Things
exactly.
go to shit.
Yeah, everything goes to shit, Kenobi. Everything. Yeah. Okay. All right. And so she gets away.
Yeah, she gets away. Sharad Het dies. And he has Mundi promised to take Sharad Het with him to train him as a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. And thus begins the journey of Darth Krayt.
Yes.
So we could say that these events is what gave us Darth Krayt in the long run, but it also consists of his backstory as well. So just because we see him go to the Jedi and stuff like that, it's his initial backstory and his evolution and what he goes through as he grows up that sets that path.
Yeah, and like we said before, this comic really fleshes out Tatooine, the Tuscans, and a heck of a lot of lore, and it ties perfectly into all kinds of other Star Wars products, like the Kenobi book.
Yeah,
and
go ahead.
I think next week maybe we'll talk about the next comic series with a follow up. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should.
It's called Emissaries to Malastare. So that means we can talk about Malastare as well, which is mentioned in the...
Yeah. And Becky says Anakin didn't like Het, but you know what? Me and Stig were talking about that. There is a scene where Anakin does talk to Het about what he did.
Yeah, later on. And there's a scene in the next comic where Asherad Het is outside on a balcony at the Jedi Temple, and he is not used to being inside, so he goes outside.
Yeah.
And Anakin is outside on the balcony, little baby Anakin, basically. And he's out there for the same reason. So they're both from Tatooine, and they both suffer the same problem. They're not used to not being under the sun and stuff.
Yeah,
So
and they kind
cool.
of bond a little bit because they are both from Tatooine, because they both grew up there and stuff. So there's a sense of some camaraderie there as well. And it wasn't at one point that Mundi did take over on Anakin's training for a little while?
I don't remember, but I'm getting there because I'm reading these comics now.
Yeah. So I remember that. So I'll just leave it at that, and we could expand on it more as we get closer. So let me go through the comics here, and people share with you what you liked about this comic, and if you've read it before, what's your favorite scene or what's your viewpoint on this. I love it. I love continuity. I love connecting. Orange Hat, oh my God, so triggered, not enough diversity, laugh out loud. Yes, right? And this is the thing, is like when you go on Twitter and you really hear people like that new group called Project Stardust, talk, and other people talk. Well, there was never diversity before until Disney's Star Wars. And I'm like, really? You do not know the lore then, because George was never racist or sexist. And that wasn't necessarily his focus. But when you look at his overall lore, there was diversity in species, there was diversity in sexes, all of that. And even when you look into Mandalorian, we did have gay couples in that too. And it was not shunned. It was just there.
Yeah, and just look at the panel on this channel. Yeah, you have a Native American woman and a Norwegian guy.
Yeah, on opposite sides of the world almost, because I'm way out on the West Coast. So yeah.
And I never throw her off the panel when she's wrong.
And I never do him either like that. So there we go. And we both come from, like warrior heathen type people. No. There we go. So it's discrimination to lump all Hutts into criminality. Not when they all agree to being criminals and stuff. So I mean, the group agrees on it. So I stand on that. So Becky Brown, in Legends, there are Hutts that are Jedi. Yes, there is like one, I believe, and there's a possibility. There's always a possibility of a being, from a species, taking that path, because the Force didn't discriminate.
Yeah. Oh, and if someone wants to buy this comic today, it is available in one of the omnibuses they're releasing. It's called The Menace Revealed, Volume 1. It contains about 50 comics, and this is one of the first ones. So they are available. They have the Legends banner, though, but if you want to buy it, they're like $30. But if you think about it, $30 for, I don't know, 50 comics or whatever, it's not that bad.
And so I heard someone say, because people always point out what if like infinities to reason why the EU was bad and that they're glad that Disney got rid of it. And then I've heard people say, wow, that was kind of weird having a Hutt become a Jedi. No, it's not. If you know the lore, then you would know that the Force doesn't discriminate, and that if you have that, the sense that, if you're strong in the Force and qualify to train as a Jedi and want to take that path or whatever, and are recruited basically, then you become a Jedi. There was no discrimination, really.
Yeah, and you can still be a Jedi even though you can't use a lightsaber, because a lightsaber is just a tool. It's their main thing is the Force, and as long as you're a living thing, technically you can use the Force.
Yeah, so Orange Hat, I remember that, and Het removed his mask in front of him. So that was really interesting as well. So I can't wait to get further into the story. So what do you think, Stig? So should we continue the Het story and then all the way into Legacy then? Like right now, just might as well.
Why not? We could do the next comic series, which is Emissaries to Malastare.
Okay.
It starts off right after this one. Next week?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
And then the 24th, we'll take a break from that, and we'll talk about the book that people vote on. So So we'll take a small break and do that and see how well that is. And like I said, if we need to change the day and time for the literature review, then we'll do that, and
Yeah,
we'll
and
plan accordingly.
and of course, all of you in the chat and on Twitter that votes for a book, I hope you guys read it too or reread it, because then you guys can chime in and talk to us and ask us questions and
Yeah. And with that, we're
stuff
not
like that.
only going to talk about just the book in general, but we'll again delve into like the planets that are involved in the book and the characters as well, and really go into, to the, to every little tiny thread within there. And then even, and like myself, and I know Stig does too, likes to refer back to other EU novels that tie into it as well. So the point of this is not only to still continue the love of George Lucas era of EU, but also to show and share that there is a continuity, no matter how bad the story may be or whatever, or how early it's made. Continuity has been being established, and we start seeing its benefits, like Stig has mentioned before, in New Jedi Order. But they, even beforehand is when they started really paying attention and tying everything together. New Jedi Order benefits from it because then they already had everything all documented and down, and the authors can benefit from what was being built on beforehand.
Yeah, it's my opinion that the EU became the EU around the prequels, because that's when they started, realizing, hey, we need to tighten this up and make it solid. And everything from the first book in the New Jedi Order and onwards has no continuity issues, I think. Not that I've noticed. So that's pretty much, in my opinion, when the EU actually started, even though they had novels and stuff before that. That's when they said, hey, we have an expanded universe, because it wasn't called that before.
Yeah.
So most of the issues people bring up when it comes to the EU are from books released in the 90s. And even the 80s.
Yeah, or even the ones that are Infinity What If stories. I see that as well, that are not basically a part of the continuity. And even like the early Marvel series, which becomes, there are stories that are coherent, and then there are stories that aren't, that turn into what ifs as well. And
the old Marvel comics from the 80s, all they had to go on for the first bit of it was the first movie. That's it. No lore surrounding it, nothing. They're incredibly entertaining, but they sure as hell don't fit anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Dark Empire, it was made before PT, and so it was okay at the time. It still was kind of cringy, and so, everybody there's mixed feelings about that. And then after the PT came out, it kind of made it irrelevant. So we started seeing a lot of things getting fleshed out and really put into order, so that continuity, so the lore could stay consistent and stuff. And so that's the history on that. So Tyler G, they always ignore the fact that Sue Rustoni basically ran the EU. I've been blocked multiple times after being bringing that up. I know. I know the struggle. I get it all the time, like once a week. George never said it was canon, kind of deal. And he was never a novelist.
George didn't have to. He greenlit it. Other people wrote it, but the Star Wars writers had like a kind of like a list that here's a list of what you're not allowed to do in the EU, because this will mess with George's stuff. You can't blow up Tatooine in a novel because George might need it later, right?
Exactly.
Which means it was canon. Because if they blow up, if the books had nothing to do with the movies, then George wouldn't have cared if they blew up Tatooine or not, right? They wouldn't have those rules.
Yeah. And like I've told people, George was a filmmaker. So he was not an author. Yes, he did ghost writing, or with certain novels, or just very, very few, like or what have you. But he his specialty was filmmaker. So he he wasn't going to do the writing, so he hired people to do the writing of the novels and the comics and stuff, and that makes sense, and he helped develop them because it was based off of his story, his films. And they fell in somewhat of a different tier because they weren't the films. The films were the foundations. And so George, he's the owner. He has say overall. And he even said that it's parallel, but parallel doesn't mean separate. It just means it runs in tandem with it. It coincides. It's coherent to the story. It doesn't intrude in the film, so it doesn't go into the films, although Darth Plagueis does in a sense, but George helped develop that story as well. So it makes sense. And so when you look at the overall thing, all the lore is has continuity and canonicity to each other. It was coherent, and especially towards the later years. And George got awards for being, having such a huge history, like 25,000 years of history created in a franchise that was all tied in continuity with each other, and that was canon to each other. And so that speaks volumes in itself, and his company will not go against what George says. If George didn't want it to be relevant, then they would say, you know what, this is an alternative timeline.
Yeah.
So they will not speak out of tandem from what George ideas are. So
they're saying and they're bringing up Pablo Hidalgo, and they're saying there was a Hutt that wielded a lightsaber before. Yeah, there was, but I don't think it was Pablo Hidalgo.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. What Pablo Hidalgo? Holy shit, that's a good one. There's a friggin' huge database to reference. Exactly. And the movies are in that database.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Hutt with a lightsaber before. Yes, and I think people, and this kind of shows that maybe people didn't realize that the lore is so expansive that we even had a Hutt Jedi. We even had a bunny Jedi, like a bunny species type Jedi. Really, we did.
yeah. That was in the Marvel comics, though, I think, because they could
Yeah,
use
it was.
They looked like bunnies, but they were actually intelligent beings, and they could talk and communicate. So I always thought they were a bit silly, but then again, we have a blue elephant in the movie playing a flute. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's a fantasy type. It's a lore. It's amazing. Things were taken, like similar like traits or something was taken from our reality, like the elephant looking species kind of deal, and recreated. And I think it's all brilliant. I really do. That's why we're here talking about it, right? Because it was so well done. Let's see, why couldn't have Disney just done a spin-off story in the Star Wars universe, but not related to the Skywalker? Sorry, Dern. They could have. I mean, they kind of did with Solo. I mean, but Solo, it does have reference to the Skywalkers eventually, but they wanted to extend the Skywalker story, and we got what we got.
It's because they have no creativity. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Oops, there's a green bunny in Legends. Wasn't the bunny also in the New Jedi Order or some
Yeah,
similar? Yes.
I think he showed up in New Jedi Order and probably Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi too.
I don't recall, but I'll go back and look.
Yeah.
I don't recall, but doesn't mean he didn't. I probably just overlooked it. Maybe it wasn't a significant scene. So I'll check on that as well. Let's see here. What else is here? Again, you guys hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do share this link. Thank you guys so much anyways for being here. And we're not closing out yet. We will here soon. I do have membership, so go ahead and take advantage of that. Are you going to be a Padawan, Jedi Knight, our master? Who knows? But the support is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. And I do have emojis for you guys to share or use as well, and they are Star Wars related. Jaina, Jason, Kenobi, the Gonk droid, R2D2, and what's his name? Silicious Crumb. I thought he was a fun character to use as an emoji, Silicious Crumb. So, take advantage of all that I have to offer you guys. You guys support me, and I just want this to be fun for you guys. All right, Lord Vader, why don't you like Pablo Hidalgo at Stig?
Because when Disney took over, Pablo was pissing all over the EU, and he was instrumental in getting rid of the EU.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also present, I believe, when him and Filoni and the others planned in quotation mark the
Planned. We know they didn't plan shit after.
When they decided that Luke should be nerfed and Leia should be the most powerful one, because they wanted to bring back the matriarchy to Star Wars.
Yeah.
The guy's a sellout, and he also said a lot of shit to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
When the fans didn't like The Last Jedi, I believe it was.
Yeah. And there you go. That in the nutshell. All right.
You can look that up on YouTube. There's a heck of a lot of videos about that crap.
Yeah.
Old fans don't like Hidalgo, and they have a reason for it. That's
Yeah, and if I missed any super chat or stickers, I'm sorry, and thank you very much. I do see Matt G's super sticker 149 for a super sticker. I cannot see what exactly it was, but thank you so much for your support. For the Stig for the win.
Yes, I have the high ground.
He's like, I have the high ground. He's on a Japanese cover of one of the Edge of Victory's books on Anakin's shoulder. So we're talking about the bunny, I think.
Oh, I thought it was Pablo Hidalgo. I got afraid for Anakin for a while.
You're like, no, Anakin. I don't remember the bunny. Oh, we'll have to share that next chat, our next coffee chat. Yeah, Pablo was rude to fans, and she says jinx because she typed it and you started talking about it. Pablo could use a nice cup of Walton's brew.
To be honest, I think he probably had a few of those cups. Which is why he closed his Twitter.
Lord Vader, I thought he was good for the EU, though.
Oh, when he was sucking up to George, he was. As soon as George was out, he started sucking up to Disney and pissing on George.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He was, and I guess it goes to the old adage. You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
And that's what I could even say with Filoni, because he started changing his tune and stuff after the buyout as well.
Oh yeah.
Some things, and so he's gonna not bite the hand that feeds him as well. So he's gonna fall into the diversity narrative that we've seen him fall into. But it is what it is. It's they're already proven that that they didn't have a plan initially and stuff, and so a lot of things are coming to light. A lot of things, and good for that. So thank you so much for Casperius for the $5 super chat. I appreciate your support as well. And you guys who are members, take advantage of the emoji stickers for the channel. I haven't seen no one post any just yet, but I thought they were fun and creative. I wanted to go back to, using Star Wars characters and stuff as well. Orange hat reviews. I remember a dog like Jedi in Yuuzhan Vong wore. That was from the Old Republic. Don't remember a green bunny though.
Sounds like he was hounding the Vongs.
hounding the Vongs. There we go.
He gave them a rough time.
A rough time. There we go. So any final words about what we talked about here, Stig? Do you have any final words?
Well, it's like I said before, those old Republic comics, as they're called, and the Clone Wars ones fit so perfectly with the movies and the novels of the time. It's just insane.
Yeah.
That they let Filoni piss all over it with the Clone Wars show, because he could have done the Clone Wars show, right, easily, but with without having to do that sloppy effort and contradict all the other Clone Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All he had to do is read this comic, and he'd know, Aura Singh is force sensitive. I mean, that should have factored into the Clone Wars
Yeah.
when Ahsoka and the others are fighting her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, it does not. It does not require that much effort, because if he's a big Star Wars fan as he claims to be, he would have already have read those comics.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. He would have known exactly, especially since he's writing or he's producing material in the Clone Wars era. This is basically right before. You would think that he would have done his homework and be privy to the lore before, and then coming into and then past. Seriously, yeah. That's how I see it. When you do your homework and you establish something and you want that continuity and stuff like that, you would basically have that knowledge and want to expand on it, not to destroy it. So that's my thing on that. All right, so Lord Vader, at Stick Kenobi, do you think you can pick up Pablo?
Maybe, no. But I'm not a sanitation worker, so it's not my job.
Ooh, boom. Filoni is a fury, according to Ryan. Yes, he is. I've heard him call that many times before. Andre, a green bunny rabbit was from the old Marvel comics. His name was Jax, I think.
Oh yeah, I just read the first old Marvel comic omnibus, and yeah, his name is Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson or Jackson. Yeah.
Oh yeah, awesome character. Looks so out of place, it's ridiculous, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's like his image is out of place, but when you get into his story and stuff like that, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, so it's just crazy how that happens, and stuff. And
yeah, he looks like something they would run into on DuckTales, like a space rabbit. Space rabbit visits Ducktown or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so Drew did an awesome job with Bane. Yes, exactly, Darth Bane. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Drew Carspasian. I probably butchered his last name. Yeah. I disagree, Steve. Clone Wars was great. The original Clone Wars, the comics and all that. Yes, very much so.
Yeah, he's talking about the other thing, though.
I know that.
Then you are lost.
Then you are lost. Defenders of Faith. I think expecting some to read all the extraneous lore is unrealistic. There's too much out there. Start somewhere and then expand. Everybody has their own series or era of Star Wars they like. Once you really get into that and you're like, oh crap, I want to know what happens here, then your curiosity takes you to different parts of the lore. I mean,
it's not unrealistic, because Laura and I are doing it.
Yeah, and I've done it my lifetime. And my backstory with Star Wars, my origin story of Star Wars is this. I seen Empire Strikes Back when it came out in a drive-in theater. But before we went to that theater, my family got the VHS of Star Wars and we watched that, and then we went to the drive-in theater to watch Empire Strikes Back. And then, of course, I went and seen Return of the Jedi because I wanted to know what happens after. And then because I was so into Luke Skywalker and him becoming a Jedi, I wanted to know his story more. I got into the EU because of that. And so I got into the EU to find out what happens. And from there, it just blossomed.
Well, Defenders of the Faith is commenting that we're not writing a TV show on a deadline. No, but usually they get a year or two to write the show.
Mm-hmm.
And reading this comic took what was it, six comics took like an hour.
Yeah, about a little less than an hour for me. I just right before I went to bed, I busted out to review it.
And they had that compendium book that they released, the lore book,
Mm-hmm.
is basically a encyclopedia. So if they're going to use Aura Singh, look up
Yeah.
Aura Singh in that one. It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
You don't have to read all the comics that aren't relevant for that time period.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm going to show this, and the author, you guys probably won't like him, but this is very coherent. And what's funny is that each one of these that has the notes to each novel that was written does share like the development of that, and also does share like George's involvement. And it's this right here. So if you don't have time to read every single book, purchase the Reader's Companion. They are all blocked off in different eras of the lore, and this is just the novels. It's not the comics, okay?
Yeah.
And this has the
Also,
short stories and all that, and then it has the summaries, and so you get an idea of the lore, and then you figure out, okay, well, I really like the Old Republic better, so I'm just going to go ahead and expand my knowledge on that, and you know which books to get.
yeah, and to reply to Defenders of Faith and chat, yes. Well, no, he doesn't have. He wouldn't have to pick up that comic out of 100. I mean, Wikipedia. Look for Aura Singh. It shows which comic she's in. It also gives the backstory, what her powers are.
Yeah.
You can do it in less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring a piece of note paper. Okay, she's force sensitive. Note that down. You know, she collects lightsabers. She kills Jedi.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All you have to do, if we're going to use a character that's already established, it doesn't take long at all.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to read through 200 comics and hope you find one with Aura Singh. The information was always there. She's in this and that comic. If you look her up online, this is where she was first introduced.
Yeah.
You know, description, personality, it's all there. It takes less than 5 minutes.
You know what? I'm going to say this. Imagine before we had VHS and we did have to read. You know, we read, you know, there was books came way before we before the VHS, before we got things on television. So, I mean, I just like, you don't have, no one's forcing you to read hundreds of books. Again, I came in on the New Republic era, what happened after Return of the Jedi. I was interested in Luke's story, and then it evolved from there. I didn't know I was going to end up reading all these books and going back in time into the PT and the Old Republic era of Star Wars. I didn't know. It happened naturally.
The irony is that there's a picture of George and Filoni, and they're looking through that very encyclopedia book. It seems like Filoni only looked at the pictures, though, because he certainly didn't read anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, every writer who wrote a Star Wars book had to do the research.
The thing is, too, is like, he's like, come on now, he'd have to pick up that comic out of the hundreds. No, Disney, or not Disney, sorry, George Lucas's franchise, his people who kept continuity, like Leland Shee and Sue Rustoni, they created a database. So all they had to do was enter in the name, the era and stuff, and look it up. Or they could pick up the encyclopedia and look through it. That's what George even has said before in a comment, that he just had to look it up, that all of it was there for him. He didn't need to read. He just needed to pick up the encyclopedia or the holocron database or the Bible, they call it, and look it up.
Yeah. It takes less than 5 minutes to find the information about Aura Singh, and then just note down, okay, she's force sensitive, she's from this and that planet.
Yeah.
Read the synopsis of her backstory. It really isn't that hard at all.
Yeah.
Especially today when we have the internet, or even back then when they have the internet. Yeah.
And it sounds like this like Defenders, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. This sounds like something that Disney Lucasfilm will do. Like, oh, well, we don't want to look it up and research it, so we'll do whatever. You know, George was known, his company was known for keeping continuity because they kept it in order. They did the research when they were expanding on stories and stuff. The authors talked to each other. They talked to George. They talked to Sue. They talked to all that was involved to make sure these stories were coherent.
If 50 novel writers can do it, surely Filoni can do that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. And but it is what it is. I mean, we got what we got with, Filoni and now with Disney and stuff, but overall there was great continuity and they were established continuity, and New Jedi Order started, benefiting and past that time frame started benefiting from it. And it's beautiful. It's loved, it's cherished, and it's well kept. OG look, share Stig my comment above. Okay, where is it?
It said something about Hidalgo.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what I was laughing at when you were talking, because I pulled it up and I shared it. And earlier when you first put it up, and I was laughing and Stig was talking, so I didn't want to really interrupt him. But yes, there you go.
This is fake news. He's not gaining weight to play Jabba. He's actually losing weight so he can play Jabba.
Whoa. Okay. Okay, including age, appearance. Okay, I already said that one. Let's see here. I read 94 books back to back, all Star Wars. Laugh out loud. There you go. I've read hundreds. I have almost all the Dark Horse comics from. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad, and I hope you enjoy them and stuff. And you are proof that people do pick up all these books and read them in these comics. I meant to say OG share my comments to Stig. Oh yeah. Well, we got it. The Thrawn novels, etc. Yeah. Oh, and I totally agree with Disney, the Disney fiasco. Yes, and that's the thing. And that's the argument. People say, well, the E was too expansive. There's so many books. How do you expect everybody to read it? Well, there's proof. We read it. You just have to get started somewhere, and then it evolves from there. Because it's good.
That's all. Pick the time period you like, and delve into it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Pablo. That does have a nice ring to it.
It actually sounds like a character.
It does. I'm sorry.
Pablo the Hutt, the Mexican Hutt.
Oh God, we need like a redemption of his face kind of morphed into the Hutt face a little bit. Oh my God.
I want to see Pablo the Hutt eat roast tico.
Oh my God. Ooh.
And he's like, oh, it's a tico. I thought it said taco.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. All right, so I guess it's past 11 here my time, and I really enjoyed switching gears and really getting into comics and building a story and talk around them, with planets and all that. And I think it's a great idea that Stig and I came up with. So our format's going to be like this, even with the novel, the literature book that we're going to review, or literature review. We're going to really dive deep into that and talk about the overall lore and world building in it. And Stig has experience writing and doing world building, so he can really flesh out a lot of stuff in such a wonderful manner. And so and I recognize his abilities with that and stuff, and I am so glad to have him here, a part of Coffee Chat, and to really get into the lore and him share his perspective as well. So thank you so much, Stig. I continue to cherish our friendship that has evolved from YouTube and the Star Wars lore. So thank you so much.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I was looking at some soccer stuff.
I am not going to repeat all that. If you can watch it on the rewatch. See, look at this. I really praise him, and he does not listen at all. You can watch it on the rewatch. Time between the movies is a good time to read. Okay, easy on the racism.
I don't know
Raisins.
what was it that was racist.
When George did it. Let's see here. Pablo looks like that guy that stole Woody in Toy Story 2.
You know what's? I noticed something about Toy Story. Well, a couple of things. What if one of the toys, right, were dead, and then Woody and Buzz would have to sit there pretending to be dead while watching a kid play with the corpse of their dead friend?
Oh my god.
Also, it's weird that the toys are named Buzz and Woody. It's almost like they're named after the kid's mom's toys. The ones she has in her drawer.
Oh Lord. What's the uniqueness of Stig's mind? Oh my goodness. All right. All right. So we're going to start closing out. Thank you guys so much. Again, like, subscribe, and share. And take become a member. Take advantage of that and support the channel. I'm trying to make this fun for you guys as well, and I appreciate it all. This is fairly new to me, so I don't even know how friggin' to advertise that. But you guys made it possible for me to be here. Are sharing the preserving George Lucas's era of Star Wars is amazing, and again, I thank you all. You could find me here Thursday mornings.
Come on, people, give her money. She needs money for milk and Star Wars stuff.
There we go. Stig's like all blunt. Just give her your damn money. Shit.
Yeah.
So you don't have to beg for it. But thank you guys so much for the support, because you guys make it possible. Our love of Star Wars and stuff, and you guys subscribing makes it possible for us to be here as well. So it's a team, it's a joint effort here, preserving Star Wars, the love of Star Wars as well. And thank you guys so much.
By joint effort, she doesn't mean that we're smoking joints.
No, we're not blazing. We're not blazing it.
Blazing. Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah. And
see, it worked. Teresa Morton just gave you money for milk. See that?
See, fine. And fine, here you go, Alora. Here you go.
she paid her fine.
There you go. And I appreciate it, and all that. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I'm just grateful for all of you guys. Thank you. And so before I get mushy anymore, we're going to go ahead and close things out here. Again, you can find Stig on Twitter, and he does have his own YouTube channel, even though he hates being promoted. He does do some nice and interesting videos that are humorous and make you laugh. And he also gets away with, posting things that I get copyrighted for. So he has...
Yeah, I have 80s cartoons and stuff on my channel. A lot of them. Yesterday, I uploaded the full movie, Brave Star, the movie. It's on my channel. And other stuff. Some of it's not even copyrighted.
I know. And so I already had, a video copyright strike and blocked by Disney. And what's funny was it's the Clone Wars 2003 Tartakovsky, and I got copyrighted for that and blocked. So yeah, so Stig is under the radar, and he's fortunate for that. So go check out his channel. I think you will love his content. It's very fun and to the point. He does this just for the love of it. He doesn't expect anything at all. And or even
I'm absolutely not looking for subs or views or anything like that. But if you want to swing by and have a look, just look and have fun.
Yeah, it's about having fun, and he does. Yeah. He puts those videos up because he enjoys it, and for himself as well.
I just do it when I don't have anything better to do.
And, and they're quite entertaining. Really, they are. Even if it's like 5 minutes or 4 minutes or 2 minutes, it's quite entertaining.
Yeah. Just don't expect me to, have videos there that require any effort, because that's not going to happen.
Stick does not do any effort, and he still is a hit. So thank you guys so much. Go ahead and check out Stick channel as well. And the voting, I'm going to go ahead and show the picture real quick one more time before we leave here, because I want to make sure that I have everything set up for you guys.
Yeah. Come on, vote, all of you. It's going to be fun.
So here are the 4 novels again, and I will change this. It's BBY, not ABY. But we have Darth Maul, Shadows of Shadowhunter. We have Dark Lord, Rise of Darth Vader, which is the sequel novel to Revenge of the Sith. Then we have the sequel novel to Return of the Jedi, Truce at Bakura. And then we have Tatooine Ghost. So if you're very interested in learning how Leia learns more about her Skywalker heritage and makes amends with her heritage as well, this is a very great, compelling story. A lot of tiebacks to the prequel trilogy as well.
Yeah, basically we have one action-packed story that pretty much reads like Terminator 1. We have a sequel to the prequels, a sequel to the OT, and then we have some emo book. So,
see, it's the emo book. Is that how you see Tatooine Ghost?
Yeah.
Really? I find that very interesting. Wow, Stig, I didn't know that.
She smiles, but her eyes doesn't.
Who's that? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about Shmi?
No, I'm just in general.
He's like, no, just in general. All right. So again, this will be up on Twitter here pretty quick. So you guys get to vote, and then we'll discuss this book at the end of this month.
Yeah, we're not taking mail-in votes.
Yeah.
You need to actually show up on Twitter and vote in person.
Thank you so much.
So wear a mask.
Yeah. Be mindful of your surroundings as well. So, all right. So thank you guys so much again for coming in and joining us for this morning's coffee chat. And may the force be with you.